Welcome to this Oasys tutorial. When simulating airframe structures, particularly for vertical takeoff and landing aircraft certification, understanding exactly how your composite materials fail during a crash is crucial. Standard outputs, like formic stress or plastic strain, are useful for metals, but for complex composites, they simply don't tell the full story. In the next 10 minutes, we'll first understand the limitations of standard database outputs and how extra history variables provide information you don't normally get in the standard database files. Second, you learn how to request material-specific data within the LS-DYNA keyword input deck. And third, we'll see how the star-defined material history keyword provides the convenience when processing the results in Oasys D3PLOT, while also keeping your disk usage low when storing LS-DYNA output files. So why do we actually need the extra history variables? Standard outputs like stress and strain are often not enough when you are working with composite materials. As engineers, we usually want more detail. For example, which fiber failure mode has occurred, or how much strain has developed locally in different directions. This is where the extra history variables become very useful, because they give you the information that's specific to the material models you're using and details that you simply can't get from the standard output alone. If we look at the LS-DYNA manual for MAT54, which is a material model widely used for simulating composite layers, we see that the solver tracks specific failure modes at every integration point. Variable 1 tracks the tensile fiber failure, while variable 5 tracks the total failure. Without requesting these extra variables, this data will simply not be written out. Unlocking them allows you to see the exact mechanism of failure, whether it's the fibers snapping or the matrix crushing. All of this ultimately gives you the ability to optimize your laminate's design. However, this isn't just limited to composites. Many other material models in LS-DYNA use these extra slots to store highly specific physical data. For instance, if you are working with structural adhesives, you can monitor cohesive and interfacial deformation. For glass, you can see exactly how many cracks have formed within the part. For concrete models, you can also see the crack opening displacement and understand how cracks are propagating through the structure under load. This gives you the ability to understand the physics of your model and justify your engineering decisions with data. To demonstrate this, we're using the VTOL aircraft models in here. The fuselage is a high-performance 30-layer carbon fiber laminate, all modeled with MAT54. In this simulation, the aircraft is crashing into the ground at high velocity. We want to identify exactly which layers in our 30-part layout are failing upon impact. To do this, we need to know the output slot for our variable. For MAT54, total failure is located in output slot 5. So now, let's jump into Oasys Primer to set up the output request. Here we are in Oasys Primer. To request the output, I'll open the star database extend binary keyword. The important fields to fill up here are NEIPH, NEIPS, and NEIPB, which represent the number of additional integration point history variables for different element types. Since our fuselage is made of shell elements, and total failure is in slot 5, I'll set the NEIPS to at least 5. This tells the solver to save the data from the first 5 history output slots for all shell and thick shell elements into the D3PLOT files. Without this simple step, your processing components will be empty. Now, let's look at the results in Oasys D3PLOT. Under the component list on the right, you will see the extra history category. I'll plot shell extra 5. The LS-DYNA manual states that a value of 1 represents elastic behavior, and 0 indicates a failed element. By changing the contour color range to just 2 levels, showing only 1 or 0, and looking at the fuselage near the door frame, we can clearly see the red areas where the 30-layer skin has failed, while the rest of the airframe remains green and intact. I can also switch between different layers of my composite laminate to pinpoint which of the 30 layers have failed. However, you'll notice one difficulty if you try to do it in this way. You have to remember that extra 5 means total failure for that specific material. When there are multiple parts that use different materials, and they place the extra time histories into different slots, things will become much more complicated. Also, if the history variable of interest happens to be stored in a bad location, for example, near the end of a very long list, you'll be forced to set the NEIP values large enough to access it in D3PLOT. This would result in unnecessarily large binary plot files. This is where the star-defined material histories comes in. It is a keyword designed to tell the LS-DYNA solver only to output the variables you want, ensuring your output remains small and easy to interpret. First, it allows us to reduce file size. Instead of exporting an entire block of history variables just to reach the one we need, we can pick a specific output. This prevents the unnecessary growth of data within the database and keeps your D3PLOT files as small as possible. Second, we can consolidate similar results. This keyword allows us to map different variable locations from multiple materials into a single unified component. This makes it very easy to do a failure plot across the entire assembly simultaneously, regardless of where the data was originally stored. Finally, we can assign names to the output. For example, extra history variable 5 can be called total failure. This ensures your results are clear, professional, and self-documenting for anyone viewing your model. This brings us to Oasys Primer, where I will show you how to define material histories with the new keyword card. Since version R13, this keyword has introduced the capability to customize data component names, and it has been supported in our software since version 22. So if you are using an older version, now is the time to update. I will create a new entry. From the drop-down list, I will select History to indicate that we want to link to the extra history variables. I will then enter 5 in the A1 box, signifying that this value corresponds to the 5th slot in the extra history variables. I will also set A2 to 54, telling LS-DYNA that this history should be limited to composite material type 54. Before I click Create, I want to define a custom name for this history so I don't have to guess its meaning the next time I open D3PLOT. I'll check the names box under the suffix and add a label called Total Failure. Then I will click Create to finalize the keyword. One important thing to watch out for is that when you use this keyword, the NEIP values on the star database extend binary will be overridden by the number of variables defined in this card. So in our case, those values will internally be set to 1, regardless of what you have entered previously. Note that for D3PLOT to recognize these labels, it relies on the CETIA file. While this is generated automatically after a simulation, you can also generate it manually in Primer. When you load the CETIA file into D3PLOT, those mystery numbers are instantly replaced with your custom labels, making your model self-documenting. When we open this in D3PLOT now, a new component category called Star-Defined Material Histories appears. If I open the list, I can see a component named Total Failure, exactly as we defined it. The prefix AL simply indicates that this contour plot applies to the whole model. If I plot this onto the model, we get the failure contour just as before. As you see, this reduces the usage of storage and drastically improves the user's experience, especially when sharing results with colleagues who didn't set up the original model. I've left a summary of the operations on the screen now. Feel free to pause the video if you would like to study the mapping for your own models. To summarize what we have covered today, first, extra history variables give you the ability to access hidden material behaviors. They allow you to identify specific stretch string conditions that go beyond the standard database output variables. Second, the style-defined material history keyword overrides the global NEIP setting. It gives you the precise control to output only the specific variables you actually need, keeping your file size small and manageable. And finally, Oasys Primer provides an intuitive interface to set this up effortlessly. It allows you to easily bring your custom labels straight into Oasys D3PLOT through Satya file for a seamless post-processing experience. Thank you for watching this Oasys tutorial. For more information, please visit our website or subscribe to our channel.